Hey there, friends, gather around because I have a story to share with you today. Have you ever heard the one about the old man and the stubborn donkey? It's a tale that's been passed down through generations. It's a simple story, but it holds a powerful message for all of us, no matter where we are in life. Sometimes the simplest stories carry the deepest wisdom. This story is about knowing when to engage and when to walk away, a lesson that can be applied to many situations we face daily. It's about conserving our energy for the battles that truly matter, and not wasting it on things that don't deserve our attention. The story takes place in a small village, nestled amidst rolling hills. This village was a serene place where life moved at a gentle pace. Life in this village was peaceful, with villagers going about their daily routines, tending to their chores and enjoying the simple pleasures of life. One day something unexpected happened that disrupted the calm. A donkey, stubborn as can be, decided to plant himself right in the middle of the road, refusing to budge an inch. This donkey, with a look of utter indifference on his face, seemed completely unfazed by the commotion he was causing. He became an obstacle to everyone's day, causing frustration and delays for the villagers who needed to pass. Imagine that, a stubborn donkey bringing a whole village to a standstill. It was a sight to behold, and a lesson to be learned. This donkey, you see, was as unyielding as an old oak tree. Its legs were planted firmly on the ground, and its eyes had a determined glint. He stood there, blocking the path, as villagers returning from the market tried to pass. They carried baskets of fresh produce, fabrics, and other goods, but the donkey wouldn't let them through. It was a comical sight, this standoff between man and beast. The villagers, with their arms akimbo and brows furrowed, faced the donkey, who seemed completely unfazed. But the laughter soon faded as the villagers realized the donkey wouldn't budge. Their initial amusement turned into frustration as they tried to figure out a solution. The road, usually bustling with activity, fell silent. Everyone was perplexed. The usual chatter and clatter of the village were replaced by a tense quiet. How could they get this stubborn animal to move? They huddled together, brainstorming ideas, each more outlandish than the last. The villagers, used to the predictability of their days, were now faced with this immovable obstacle. Their routines were disrupted, and they didn't know how to handle it. Some of the villagers, their patience wearing thin, began to argue with the donkey. They waved their arms and raised their voices, but the donkey remained indifferent. They shouted and pleaded, hoping their words would somehow penetrate the animal's thick skull. They tried everything from gentle coaxing to stern commands, but nothing seemed to work. Some even tried to push or pull the donkey, but it was as if the animal had turned into a statue. The more they tried, the more stubborn it seemed to become. Exhausted and defeated, the villagers finally sat down, realizing that this was a battle they couldn't win. The donkey had outlasted them all, and so, the donkey stood alone in the road, triumphant in its stubbornness, a silent testament to the power of sheer will. "Get out of the way, you stubborn creature! Move aside, you beast!" they yelled. But the donkey, unfazed by the commotion, simply flicked its tail and stood there, as if mocking their efforts. It remained rooted to the spot, unmoved by their shouts and pleas. Some villagers, their tempers flaring, tried pushing and pulling the donkey. They thought brute force might work where words had failed. They strained and they heaved, their faces turning red with exertion. Sweat dripped down their brows as they put all their strength into moving the stubborn animal. But the donkey, as if carved from stone, refused to yield. It stood firm, like a statue, resisting every attempt to budge it. The villagers were at their wits' end. Their frustration was palpable, and their energy was waning. They had never encountered such stubbornness. It was as if the donkey had a will of iron, unbreakable and unyielding. They wondered if they'd ever be able to pass and continue on their way. The path was completely blocked, and their journey had come to a frustrating halt. Just when their frustration reached its peak, a hush fell over the crowd. The air seemed to change, and everyone turned to see what had caused the sudden silence. A figure emerged from the back, a figure everyone knew and respected, the wise old man of the village. His presence brought a sense of calm and hope to the weary villagers. The old man, his eyes twinkling with wisdom, observed the scene. He saw the villagers' frustration, heard their angry shouts, and felt the weight of their helplessness. With a gentle smile, he approached the donkey. The villagers watched, their hopes rising. Surely the wise old man would have a solution. Instead of yelling or pushing, the old man simply walked around the donkey. He continued down the road, unbothered, as if the donkey was nothing more than a pebble in his path. The villagers were stunned. They looked at the old man, then at the donkey, and back again. The solution, so simple yet so profound, dawned on them. The old man with his actions had taught them a valuable lesson that day. "Why waste your time and energy arguing with something that will not listen?" he asked the villagers. "Some battles are not meant to be won, not in the way you might think." He explained that there's more strength in recognizing a futile battle than in engaging in it. The villagers, their faces etched with newfound understanding, finally saw the wisdom in the old man's words. They realized that they had spent so much time trying to change the donkey's mind that they had neglected their own needs and goals. Life, much like that dusty road, is full of obstacles. Some we can move and some we simply need to navigate around. Don't waste your precious energy on things you cannot change. Instead, focus on your path, your journey, and the things that truly matter. Remember the old man and the donkey. Remember the wisdom of choosing your battles. And most importantly, remember to keep moving forward, always forward, towards the things that bring you joy and fulfillment.